is specially designed to develop any kind of software applications like console applications, Windows applications, web applications, mobile applications, etc. When a customer approaches to you to develop any software application, his requirement might be anything, whether it can be console application or Windows application, web application, mobile application. So .NET allows to develop any kind of software application. In the same way, .NET also allows to develop a reusable component like class libraries, okay, and different services like Windows services, web services, RESTful services, etc. Right? It is used to develop any kind of software application. Let's say, first of all, what is .NET actually? See, it's not a programming language. It's not an application package. Then what exactly .NET is? .NET is not a programming language and it's a framework. Okay, .NET is a framework, okay, which helps you developing these kind of applications. Okay, so what is framework? So framework is nothing but a software infrastructure. Framework is a software infrastructure which is used to provide the foundation for any application development. .NET is a framework, and generally frameworks are nothing but a software infrastructure. Let's say a person is asking to develop a software application for Windows forms or web forms or mobile forms or irrespective of anything. Let's say a requirement is coming to develop an application for particular specification. That requirement related foundations are ready, and these foundations are called as a infrastructure. In order to develop the application, the infrastructures are ready and the infrastructures are available in the form of frameworks. So framework is a software infrastructure in which a software can be developed or a software can be implemented. Alright, let's say a simple example. When a person who is coming for application development, generally we'll be calling them as a customer. Okay, generally customer is having some business. Okay, he want to develop a software application for his business. Generally, when a customer is developing any business, okay, for his business, generally he will be implementing his own logic called as a existing system. Existing system refers to a way what he is following. Okay, this system might be very slow or he is doing the works very less. What he'll be expecting is he need a software application to be developed. He need a software application to be developed, okay, to make his system effective. For this, what we need to do is we need to have a software programming language. In order to develop a software application, we have a programming languages earlier. So what is a programming language? You people are worked with different programming languages like C, C++, etc. Okay, are the programming languages. Example C, C++, Pascal, COBOL, Visual Basic, etc. Might be you learned about all these things. I mean, some of these things in your academics and all. What is a programming language? Generally, programming language is used to develop software applications. Programming languages are used to develop software applications. In order to develop the software application, we'll be using any one of this. Why we need to have a software application? In the sense to make existing system effective for any business, whether it can be a medical store, a departmental store, or it can be college business, banking business, etc. Right? When a person is having any business, he will generally follow an existing system, and the existing system may not be effective, and he want to do a lot of things with that existing system, so he'll ask you to develop a software application. In order to develop the software application, we'll be using the programming languages. Generally, programming languages are used to develop the software applications. Earlier days, we used to have C, C++, Pascal, COBOL, Basic, etc. Okay, in order to develop a programming language, I mean application, we used to have a programming languages, and these languages are having limitations. What are the limitations of programming languages? Generally, programming language, whatever we do, okay, we have to write the code from the scratch. I repeat, the code to be written from the scratch. Okay, we have to write the code from the scratch. Right, this is the first limitation. Every point to be implemented from the scratch. Second one, programming languages, okay, are used to implement software application for particular specification. So what do you mean by particular specification? In order to develop a Windows forms or web forms or particular forms, only one type of specification can be implemented. This is what exactly called as programming language. Okay, so these things are very what we call not sufficient for the software application or advanced things. In order to overcome this, we have a concept called as a technology list. So technologies. So what are the technologies? A technology, okay, is a collection of both programming languages and infrastructures. Programming languages and infrastructures like frameworks. Now, what is a infrastructure and what is a framework? See, a framework is ready-made code. For example, if you want to develop an application ready-made infrastructures are available in the frameworks. So, technology is a collection of programming languages, frameworks, okay, etc., libraries, etc., resources. So with the help of this one, what we can do now, we can overcome the limitations of this, right? And available technologies. So we have technologies like Java, PHP, etc. So you can understand that .NET, Java, PHP are not only the programming languages, these are the software technologies. Why we need to have these software technologies? In the sense, we can build the application with the help of the frameworks, okay, to develop large-scale software applications. This is what exactly the software technology is. When you come to the .NET, okay, so .NET is a powerful technology from the Microsoft. What can be done with .NET? Using .NET, we can develop any kind of software applications, class libraries, Windows services, etc. Irrespective of anything. When a customer is approaching with his requirement, we can develop any kind of software application with the help of the .NET. Alright, and do remember .NET is specially designed to develop software applications for high-level languages. What do you mean by high-level language? Business purposes. Okay, and it is strongly recommended to not to develop software applications for low-level programming. What do you mean by low-level programming? Let's say you want to develop an application for operating system, okay, translators, okay, programming language. Such kind of things cannot be implemented. We can develop only an application with the requirement related to business purposes, right? And what is .NET? .NET is not a programming language and it's not any package or something. It is a framework, right? So what do you mean by framework? Here is the point. Framework is a software infrastructure which contains a foundation. What is a foundation? Foundation in the sense initial component, and these initial components which are used to develop the application related to a customer requirement. Understand? Right. Coming to the next one. What are the different types of software applications can be developed using .NET? See, in order to develop a software application, we have different requirements. As per the requirements, we can develop any kind of software application. See here, if a customer is requesting to develop a standalone application, we'll have Windows Forms. If you want to have an application to be operated in the internet, we have web forms. If you want to develop an application for console, we have a console application, and in order to work with smartphones, we have mobile emulators. So irrespective of any requirement, we can develop any kind of software application. Let's see with a simple example. Let's say a customer approaches to you, okay, let's say he's having a business called something like tutorial college, right? Let's say a customer is doing a business called as a tutorial college. Okay, generally he will implement his requirements in his own style, what he is comfortable. That is called as an existing system. Now what he want to do, he want to grow the business, like make things fast or doing with business and all. Definitely he'll approach for the software application. So to simplify his existing system, okay, to simplify his existing system, or you can understand that to grow the business, okay, he need to have a software application. Let's say first of all he'll ask you to develop an application which will be simplify the system. For this, generally what we can do now, we can suggest an application to be developed and implemented in his screen. For these kind of information, what we will be doing is we'll be developing the Windows forms. what it is? Windows Forms. What do you mean by WinForms? See, generally WinForms are nothing but desktop application. What we can do is we can develop an application which will be operated in the desktop. What do you mean by desktop? Standalone. Okay, standalone in the sense will be operated in the same computer. Now fulfill his requirement. Once he develop a desktop application, he need not to maintain his existing system like books, etc. All entire information related to his business can be presented in the screen, and these kind of information can be maintained with the help of the Windows Forms. So Windows Forms are related to desktop standalone application. I can tell you simple example. Your Skype is a Windows Forms application. Okay. Your PowerPoint is a Windows Forms application. Okay. Your Notepad is a Windows Forms application. And these kind of applications can be easily developed with the help of the .NET. This is the first thing. Let's come into the next one. Let's say his business related to Windows Forms is very comfortable. Now he want, let's say Windows Forms is completely related to desktop and it is a standalone. He want his application to be operated in internet. What do you mean by internet? An application can be operated in the web so that he can have his business to be operated from his home also. Right. For this, we have a facility called as a web forms. So what are these? Windows Forms are used to develop the standalone applications. Web Forms are used to develop the web application. Okay. So accessible in the internet. So what is the advantage of the web forms accessible in the internet? So he can have the customers can be operated the application in internet. Not only customers, he himself can operate his application from his house. This is the advantage related to the web forms. So Windows applications for desktop, okay, and it is standalone, okay, and web Windows Forms are in internet and it is accessible in the network. Right. Later, let's say he wants his application to be operated in the mobile phone also. For this, we have a facility to develop an application called as mobile forms. Alright, so what is mobile forms? Mobile forms are the mobile emulators. Alright, what are this? You can develop an application which can be operated in the smartphones. Okay, you can operate in the smartphone, okay, tablet PC, etc. So what is the advantage of this one? He can make his application to be operated in all the places. I repeat, once you want to develop any kind of application, we have a facility to implement with the help of the .NET. So .NET allows to develop any kind of applications like Windows Forms, web forms, mobile emulators. And sometimes you want to develop an application which can be implemented directly. Okay. In order to do this one, we have some facility called as a command line applications, or you can say console application. What is a console application? An application which will be executed at command prompt. These are called as a console application. Let's say you want to see the system time, TIME. So it's a console application which will give you the system time, like version, like directory, IP config, such kind of things. These are the console applications, and these console applications are also allowed to develop with the help of the .NET. So .NET allows to develop any kind of applications like Windows Forms, web forms, mobile emulators, console applications. Alright, so console applications are nothing but instruction based applications. Instruction based applications. So as per the customer requirement, we can develop either Windows Forms, web forms, mobile emulators, and console applications. This is what exactly the application can be developed using the .NET. Okay, I repeat, different types of software application development is possible with the help of the .NET. Okay, like users and user programming interfaces can be implemented. In order to do this one, we have a facility called as a .NET. In that, the presentation layers in the sense the screen what you want to present. Okay, it will be Windows Forms, web forms, console applications, and mobile emulators. Hope you guys are clear. Coming to the next one, class libraries. See, if you want to develop an application like which contains only the code and the code can be implemented, you want that application code you want to implement. In order to consume the existing code, we have a facility called as a class libraries. So what are class libraries? Class libraries are used to develop reusable, okay, and ready to use components. If you want to have a component which can be consumed in another projects, we'll be having the class libraries. Once the class library is generated, it is going to be providing a facility called as a DLL, dynamic link library. Right? These are the reusable and ready-made components. What is the use of a ready-made component? Once you implement any project, if you feel that is success, what we will be doing is we'll be generating a reusable component, and the same component can be implemented in all the projects, and these things will be called as a DLL files. So DLL files are nothing but a dynamic link libraries. In order to generate a reusable component or ready to use component, we have a facility called as a class library. So what is the difference between these two? Applications for execution and class libraries for consumption. You can consume this, okay, whereas applications can be executed, right? So we can develop any kind of applications for user interfaces. Class libraries for execution, and the class libraries can be stored in separate place that will be understanding in just a bit. Okay, then coming to the next one. In order to work with the communication between different technologies or communication between different applications, or you want to run parallelly, we have a concept called as software services, right? So software services are also allowed to develop with the help of the .NET. So generally, a service is used to create a layers to implement the business logics. In order to separate your logics, or in order to put the logics which will be run in parallel, we have a facilities called as services. Okay, .NET helps to create a variety of services like Windows services, web services, WCF services, web API services. .NET help you to create variety of services like Windows services, web services, WCF services, etc. Services which are running in parallel. Let's see, if you are able to see your desktop, in the right bottom, you will be able to see a notification area. This is a notification area. So what is this notification area? In this notification area, you will be able to see a lot of applications which are running in parallel. All these applications are nothing but Windows services. So Windows services are the services which will be running in parallel. Right. So we can develop that kind of services with the help of the .NET. Right. And next one, we have a concept called as a web services. What do you mean by web services? Web services are the services which can be consumed in internet. Let's say a central government is going to be generating a service and returning some value. Let's say a company is returning a service called as a city temperature. You can get the city temperature by your web service. You cannot write your own temperature. The temperature should be borrowed from temperature department. So the temperature department will return the web service. So once it is written by the web services, we can consume in our application. Let's say cricket is going on. You want to see the cricket score. Cricket score will be presented, will be provided with the help of the web services. So you can understand that web services which are going to be providing services which can be communicated in web. Like this, we'll have Windows services, web services, WCF services, web API services. Windows services are used to create an applications which will be run in parallel in your operating systems. Web services which is used to communicate between different technologies running in different computers. Like we have WCF services, Windows Communication Foundation services. And these services are used to communicate with different protocols to the application. To your application, if you want to communicate with different protocol, you'll be using this WCF services. You'll be understanding them slowly. Then coming to the next one, we have web services available as a RESTful. Okay, we'll be using with the help of the web API. Generally, web API in the sense RESTful services where we can access with any client. You'll also understand this one in future classes. Next one, web service is an application or business logic that is accessible through standard internet protocols like hypertext transfer protocol. In internet, if you want to transfer anything, okay, that can be done with the help of the web services. Right. So .NET allows to develop any kind of software applications for user interfaces like Windows Forms, web forms, console applications, mobile emulators, okay, class libraries like dynamic link libraries, okay, different services like Windows services, web services, WCF services, web API. Right, guys. Coming to the next one, why you want to go for a .NET? When you have these many technologies in the industry, like we have Java is a very famous technology, PHP is a technology, okay, .NET is a technology. In this, why you want to select a .NET? What is the advantage? First of all, .NET is very comfortable. Comparing to other technologies, .NET is very easy. Okay, because of its facilities, because of features, working with .NET is very easy. Okay, in this, the first feature, multiple language support. The first feature of the .NET, no other technologies are provided. That is called as a multiple language support. What do you mean by multiple language support? In order to work with .NET, okay, we can use any language. Whatever you're confident you can use. .NET will not demand you to use a particular language. .NET is telling that you can use any language for your application development. In order to do this one, we have a facility called as a multiple language. What it means? See, let's see this example. Let's say, eh, let's say you have different teams working in different places. Okay, example, I have a team working in USA, they knows only one language. Okay, let's say I have another team who is working in something like Singapore, they knows different technology, different language. Okay, let's say a team in USA, they knows only VB. Okay, they can use VB. Let's say I have another team in Malaysia, they knows only C Sharp, they can use C Sharp. I have a team that is in UK, they knows only VC++, they can use VC++. So .NET is telling that you can use any language for your application development. Multiple language support. This feature enable us to communicate with .NET with the language what we are confident. There is no rule that you need to use a particular language in order to work with the .NET. This is the first feature. Multiple language support. Okay, as I said you that using any language we can develop an application. Okay, let's say my company branch one, which is located in USA, they knows only VB.NET. They can use VB. Let's say I have another company, another branch in another place, let's say Singapore, they know C Sharp. Okay, another one it is in London. Okay, let's say they know only one language. Now here the thing is, in order to work with .NET, they can use any language. So when you use a .NET, okay, any language, you can generate a component. Component is nothing but a file what you want to generate. So you can use any language. Okay, you can use any language for developing your application. There is no rule. .NET will not demand you to use a particular language. Example, if you go for a Java, you need to know about the Java syntax. If you go for a PHP, you need to know about the PHP syntax. All other languages like C, I mean what will be called VC++, etc. But .NET related thing, there is no rule. You can use any language to generate your component. Let's say I'm generating a component called as a 1. Okay, let's say I'm generating a component called as a 2. Let's say I'm generating a component called as a 3. So using any programming language, we can generate a component. This is what exactly can be done with the help of the first feature, multiple language support. Coming to the second feature, language interoperability. See, what is language interoperability? Language interoperability refers to there can be different components generated in different technologies, right? They can easily communicate. Let's see, I have used different languages to develop these components. The first component has been generated using VB, second component is generated using VC++, and the third component is generated using VC++. Now here the question is, are these components are communicated? Yes, they can communicate. This is possible with the help of the second feature. What is the second feature? Language interoperability. See, the different components generated using different technologies, different languages like VB, VC++, C Sharp can communicate. Understand? These are the facilities which are available in the .NET. Okay, let me explain you once again. So first feature is multiple language support. So what is the meaning of multiple language support? Okay, so here more than 40 successful languages available in the industry. More than 40 successful languages available in the industry to develop software applications targeted to .NET technologies. So with the help of this feature, I need not to demand my candidates to use a particular language. I can ask them to use any language where they are confident. Second one is language interoperability. What do you mean by language interoperability? Okay, let's say a component generated using one language, say VB.NET. Let's say a component generated using one language, say VB.NET, can be communicated with another component. Another component generated using another language. Hope you understand, guys. Another language, say C Sharp. So this is the advantage. in order to work with .NET, .NET is not demanding to use a particular language, and it's telling that you need not to be using a complete language for complete software application. Part of the application can be developed using VB, part of the application can be done using C#, and part can be rest of the languages. These are the two unique features provided by the .NET technologies. No other programming languages has these two features, right? These two features are called as a multiple language support and language interoperability. Coming to the third one, powerful framework. As we discussed, framework is nothing but a software infrastructure, right? So without framework, we cannot do anything. If you don't have a framework, we need to develop everything from the scratch. In order to implement, okay, .NET provided a ready-made framework, ready-made infrastructure. With the help of the ready-made infrastructure, what we can do, we can develop the Windows applications, mobile applications, etc. We can develop any kind of application, and frameworks behave like a software infrastructures. Frameworks behave like a software infrastructures. Frameworks will make your application development very, very easy and very, very comfortable. This is the third feature. Hope you guys are clear. Coming to the next one. In order to work with .NET, Microsoft provided thousands of ready-made libraries. Not one, two, three. Thousands of ready-made libraries are there. And these libraries are used to provide a reusable and ready-made components. Okay, you want to see the ready-made components which are available here, the location of the libraries. Okay, the location of the libraries will be stored in a separate place called as a GAC. GAC stands for Global Assembly Cache. So Global Assembly Cache, okay, you can see it is a repository, okay, for libraries provided by. Alright, you want to see the libraries, just go to the start run. In your system you can directly do it. Okay, C colon Windows Assembly. So C colon Windows Assembly is a GAC, Global Assembly Cache, which contains all the reusable libraries which are provided by the .NET. Not one, two, three, thousands of ready-made libraries are there. In order to communicate with the .NET, in order to communicate with other technologies, in order to communicate with the printer, in order to communicate with the file system, in order to communicate with the Oracle, etc., any database, the ready-made code is available, and this code will be available in the form of ready-made libraries. These are thousands of ready-made libraries are there. So this is also one of the best feature why you want to go for a .NET. Thousands of ready-made libraries which makes your application development very, very easy and very, very simple. A programmer should need to know just how to communicate, how to consume. The rest of the things will be available over here. So these are the features. Coming to the next feature, intelligent application development software. See, this is a very, very important feature here. In order to develop the applications for .NET, okay, we have a facility that ready-made software is there. .NET is providing a software, okay, from the Microsoft named as a Visual Studio. So Visual Studio is one of the software, okay, one and only the software which is used to develop the .NET. See, an application developed using .NET is very, very, application developed using Visual Studio is very, very comfortable and very easy. Why? Because Visual Studio is intelligent software. What do you mean by intelligent? Intelligent in the sense, it not only allow you to develop the application, it also help you to generate the code, okay, provide the facilities like designing the screens and all. So first of all, the programmer need not to be an experienced person. He can easily develop the application. The working with Visual Studio is very easy. Okay, so why? Because it's having a lot of intelligent features. Its own features are available, and this feature is called as a intelligent application development software. All right, let's say Visual Studio. What is Visual Studio? Visual Studio is a software available in the what we call Microsoft, which is used to develop applications for .NET technologies. And the software is available in Express Edition, and it is free to download. If you want to have this software, you can download from the Microsoft downloads. Okay, and this software is available in individual specifications. We can develop the Windows applications, we can develop the web applications, mobile applications separately. But the specifications are available for 30 days free to download. 30 days free to download. Okay, I also given the links. Okay, if you want to develop the applications, we have my ready to download in the Microsoft downloads. Let's copy the link, okay, and paste in your browser. Okay, once you paste in your browser, okay, you land on the Microsoft downloads. you will land on the Microsoft downloads. Here this is a Microsoft downloads for Visual Studio. Okay, if you download, if you scroll down, you'll be able to see the softwares which are available free to download. Right? Yes, software available free to download. Here example we have Express Edition for desktop, Express Edition for web, Express Edition for Windows. Right? We have different flavors are available. Express Edition for desktop, Express Edition for web, Express Edition for Windows. So whatever the software you are going to be downloading, okay, the software allows that kind of application development. All right. Example. See here, if you download a software like Visual Studio Express Edition for a desktop, if you download a software for a desktop, okay, that desktop software allows to develop console applications, Windows applications, class libraries, and Windows services. I repeat, these are the 4 different kinds of applications can be developed with this software, okay, which was available in the Microsoft downloads as a first one. Right, so initially you'll be developing the desktop applications, console applications, Windows applications, and Windows services by developing this one. Second one, Visual Studio Express Edition for web. If you download this software, you can have application development like web applications, websites, class libraries, MVC applications, web services, etc. I repeat, any application associated to the web. Example, web applications, websites, web services, class libraries, MVC application, reusable components also allowed. Okay, so depends upon your requirement, you can download either this software or this software. Right, coming to the third one. If you want to have an application related to mobile phones to be developed, example Windows Phone software, okay, Windows 10 apps, Windows 8 apps, this software can be developed with the help of this by downloading this one. Okay, Visual Studio Express Edition for Windows, use it to develop applications for mobile phones, tablet PCs which are running in the Windows. All right, coming to the next one. If you want to have any database, in order to have database, we have a software called as a SQL Server. So SQL Server software is also available free to download, and the link is below. By clicking on the link, you'll land on the what we call downloads. You can download the software. And do remember, guys, if you are from a university students, universities are going to be providing you the softwares for free of cost. You can inquire in your university; they'll give you the software keys free, so you can have the software available for life. For us, what we'll be doing, if you download from Express Edition in the Microsoft download site, you can enjoy the features only for 30 days. Right, yes. Coming to the next one. So guys, any questions? Right. So we have seen what is .NET, why do we need .NET and all. Right. Coming to the next one, how .NET is going to be working. See, in order to develop any software application, generally programming languages are having only a particular specification features. Okay. But in software technologies, we have something called as a runtimes exist internally. There is something called as a runtime. Okay, so what is runtime? Runtime stands for execution engine. In order to develop any application, the respective engines are available, and these engines are called as a runtimes, or some people will call as a RT. Okay, RT is nothing but a runtime. So runtime takes responsibility to make your program execution. Runtime takes responsibility to make your program execution. If you are from Java, there is a runtime called as a JVM, Java Virtual Machine. Right. In the same way, if you want to work with the .NET, we have a runtime called as a CLR. Right. What it is? CLR. CLR stands for Common Language Runtime. Right. CLR stands for Common Language Runtime. Okay. CLR is the runtime for .NET framework. In your .NET framework, we have a runtime, and that runtime will be called as a CLR. Okay, CLR takes responsibility for converting user-given code to .NET understandable code as well as program execution. The software application development as well as software execution will be done by the help of the CLR. CLR is the runtime for the .NET applications. All right. Understand is coming to the next one. Following are the components of the CLR. In order to make your application very effective, CLR is having different components. Okay, and these components are like listed over here. Okay, here to make your ready to work with any communication, any different language, we have a component called as a CLS, Common Language Specification. CLS is component inside a CLR which takes responsibility to communicate with different languages. Okay, like VB, VC++. Let's say you have used two different languages. Okay, like how a component of VB can communicate with a component of C Sharp. Why? Because the C Sharp and VB syntaxes are different. How they can communicate. In order to take the responsibility, like communicating from component 1 to 2 or 2 to 1, we have internally a CLS. CLS stands for Common Language Specification. And this feature will take responsibility while communicating from different languages. Understand? And next one, all data types which are available in .NET are available ready-made in the CLR only. That is called CTS. So CTS is nothing but of a common type system. All the data types available in the .NET are ready-made available in the CTS. Even CTS is also component of the CLR. CLR is nothing but of a .NET runtime. It is similar to JVM concept in your C. If you are from, if somebody is from what we call Java background, they might heard about a JVM. Okay, JVM, Java Virtual Machine. Okay, so Java Virtual Machine is a runtime for Java technologies. Like we have CLR. CLR is a common language runtime, and it's a runtime for .NET framework. Understand? It's having a lot of components like CLS, CTS, BCL. BCL stands for base class library, or you can call it as a frame class library. These are the ready-made components. As we said, you right, C:\Windows assembly. We have a lot of ready-made libraries are there, and these libraries are also the component of the .NET framework. Once you install the .NET framework, these libraries will be provided. Right? Yes. And next one, if you want to communicate with what will be called .NET, what we need to do? We need to have a compiler called as a JIT. Like how it is going to be working. Let's see with a simple example. Let's say I'm using different languages to develop different software applications. Now what happens, when you want to develop any software, okay, generally every programming language has its own compiler. I repeat, for every programming language has its own compiler, whether it's a what will be called VB.NET, VC++.NET, etc. Every programming language has its own compiler. Alright, let's say VB has its own compiler, VC++ has its own compiler. Okay, like we have a separate compiler for every programming language. For example, if you work with a VB, what happens? Internally, your VB will take the compiler called as a VBC, self-explanatory, Visual Basic Compiler. VBC will take the support of Visual Basic Compiler and it will generate the application. Let's say if you take a C Sharp, it will take CSC. CSC stands for C Sharp compiler. Okay, VC++. It's going to be generating its own compiler. Now what happens? These are nothing but different compilers available, and these compilers will generate the .NET understandable code. Now what this code contains, this code contains a separate code called as a IL code. I repeat, you will be generating a common understandable code called as a IL code. Okay, IL stands for intermediate language. Do remember, every .NET, whatever the programming language you select, whether it's a VB, VC++, C Sharp, etc., it's going to be generating a commonly understandable code called as a IL code, and IL code is nothing but an intermediate language. So what do you mean by intermediate language code? If you are familiar with C, C++, you might heard something called as object code. So object code in the sense, your compiler understandable code. So you can understand that your programming languages will convert into IL code. IL code is nothing but an intermediate language code. So intermediate language code is only the code which can be understandable by .NET. Now you can understand that .NET will understand only this code. Then .NET will convert, this understandable code will be converted into the operating system understandable code. It will be done with the help of the compiler called as a JIT. Might be you heard this one again in the Java. JIT stands for just-in-time compiler. So what do you mean by JIT? Just-in-time compiler. So just-in-time compiler is nothing but a compiler which converts IL code to operating system code. Okay, so this will be called as a JIT. JIT, just-in-time compiler. So just-in-time compiler, okay, which will convert IL code to operating system understandable code. What is your operating system? Your operating system can be either Windows, etc. Okay, Mac, etc. So you can understand that operating system code will be there, and this code will be called as a native code. What code it is? Native code. Okay, native code is nothing but the operating system understandable code. So for every operating system we have an understandable code. So that operating system understandable code called as a native. Now you can understand that by default your programming language 40 plus languages are there, it will convert into IL and IL will be converted into native code. And this process will be done by an internal existing separate software called as a RT. RT stands for runtime. Okay, and our RT is CLR. What it is? CLR. CLR stands for Common Language Runtime. So what it is? Common Language Runtime. What is this Common Language Runtime? Common Language Runtime is an RT which takes responsibility for converting from here to here. This is what exactly the advantage related to .NET. Hope you guys are clear. Guys, now you can ask me any questions you have. Just raise your hand. You can chat the question or you can ask me, I'll unmute. Then coming to our content delivery. Okay, so this is your content delivery. So here is the content. So the course is specially designed to, okay, target the following JD. Okay, so here web application development using ASP.NET with 3-tier architecture. This is the content. The content is available in our website. You can download. All right, and these are the course topics. So initially we'll be working with .NET framework in detail. That will be one class. We already did this. We'll have the complete repetition in all the classes. Then your programming will be with the help of the C#. So we'll be using the C# for programming. Okay. In order to make you very strong in the programming, we'll be using the C#. So C# will learn how to work with C#, programming basics like working with data types, control structures like if conditions. Okay, we'll have switch cases, loops. Okay, different loops, arrays, etc. So we'll have 4 dedicated sessions to make the programming is very comfortable, like which we learned in the kind of C++. Then OOPS concepts will be there, that will be covered in detail, and OOPS concepts will be like advanced concepts using C# OOPS will be there. Right, database concepts using SQL Server, like writing queries, okay, implementing database interaction with the help of stored procedures. And here in our project, advanced client-side technologies will be covered, and the advanced client-side technologies we are going to be covering is HTML concepts, CSS concepts, JavaScript concepts, jQuery will see, okay, and very advanced client-side technologies, AngularJS also will be covered in our part of the syllabus. And asynchronous interaction will be done with the help of the Ajax. And standard data formats will be understanding the XML format as well as JSON formats. Then web application development completely using the ASP.NET. So ASP.NET is our web application development, and ASP.NET will be covering the complete interaction, like working with different components, different tools. Okay, like we'll work with state management techniques. Database connectivity will be done using ADO.NET, and we'll be covering one ORM called as a link you to SQL. Okay, so link you to SQL will be our ORM in the ASP application development. And your real-time examples will be given with the help of the 3-tier architecture, which you are going to be working in the real time. Okay, state management technique will be discussed. 6 different techniques, 3 in the client side and 3 in the server side will be explained. And ASP.NET security will be completely explained in detail from the scratch. Right, web services, SOAP-based services will be covered. Okay, and MVC introduction will be covered. Right, working with entity framework, will have some implementation on entity framework, and will cover one MVC.NET application, and standalone application development will be covered using vendor source. This is our course delivery content plan. Right, guys? So this is about my day 1 session. Guys, can ask me any questions you have. Please raise your hand, I'll unmute. Any questions? Please raise your hand here, I'll unmute. Or you can use the chat feature. Hello, Jyoti, any questions? Yeah, Karnakar. Hi.
No, no questions.
No
Yeah.
questions. Very good. Okay. Radhika. Raman. Any questions? Yeah. Asmir, what is your question? Hand raised, right? See, guys, one of you logged in with Vimesh Yuan, right? What is the question? Please ask me.
Is a quick one. How is this applicable to software testing environment?
Software testing.
Software testing environment. How is this applicable? .NET. How
Right.
is that? How is
No, I didn't get your question. This is application development completely. If you want, you have some testing tools internally exist.
yeah? That's what I'm saying. I understand that is a software application development. What I'm asking is that how is this relevant? What is the context in this context? How is it relevant to software?
No, no. See, my application development is nowhere related to software testing. It's completely application development only.
Right. Okay.
We are
All right.
completely into application development. Okay, we are not going to testing anything in this, right?
Right, because I had a colleague of mine who was also listening, who is in zone two software testing. So
Right.
he wanted to clarify.
No,
Go ahead and ask.
no, no. We are
All
not.
right, thank you.
Yeah. In this content, we will not be having any testing. It's completely web application development, right?
Thank you.
Okay. Vijay, any questions? Vijay, any questions? Rohit? Good. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Okay. We'll continue tomorrow the same time. And guys, in the meanwhile, if you have any doubts, okay. So here is a PPT will be uploaded. Okay. You can see this one. Okay. If you have any download, any doubts, okay, you can reach to learn@itelearn.com. One second. Okay. So this is your email ID. One second here. Learn@itelearn. Okay, any questions, any communication, you can shoot a mail to that one. We'll communicate. Okay, thank you so much. Bye for now, guys. See you. Right.